Andrew and Brad, am I right in thinking these two guys were pretty much everybody's first call?
They definitely were the first phone call, and I was talking to Brad today. Like, I'm sure they get the same call from every producer. We're always calling them and begging them, "What's your schedule like? We don't have any money. It's a low-budget movie." And I promise this time, sound is really important. Please read it. And I think they'll say, finally, a producer wasn't lying. The sound is so important.
Well, Eric and Ethan, tell me about how this changed the paradigm for you in terms of what you normally do. I mean, I suppose it would have taken a lot of out-of-the-box thinking to figure out the challenge of designing sound when there really is very, very little sound.
Yeah, well, for us, it was just so exciting to be working with filmmakers who were just constantly, telling us, just push it, experiment, be bold, and see where you can go with it. And that was like so liberating for us, just such a fantastic experience to have. And I just have these guys to thank for, pushing us so hard to push the medium, and I'm really thankful for the opportunity we've had with it.
I mean, it's not often that you get to push not only the sound but the lack thereof, and certainly Millie is, in my opinion, the greatest gift to the movie that any of us could have ever asked for. Very true. Very true. And when we were coming up with Millie's point of view, that idea of sort of neutralizing any and all sound except for a low-level hum. It was all based on me talking with Millie and her mom about what Millie can hear in real life, and we wanted to make it so unique and so realistic. And I think that one of my favorite compliments of the whole sound process was seeing her mother after the premiere, and her mother was very sweetly crying and saying, "I've always wanted to know what my daughter's experience was," and I finally got to experience that in this movie for the first time, and it was, I mean, I wept for days. I'm still weeping now. I got to put this down.
Well, Millie, let me ask you, movies and horror movies especially, they rely on sound design to kind of, tease scares and kind of play with the audience. What has been your experience of watching films like that, and how did the experience of A Quiet Place differ?
Sure. Well, my experience with working in this movie was incredible. The experiences and the relationships I made throughout were indescribable. It was overwhelming, very special, and I was surprised that the sound editors really caught my experience and my perspective of the world in this film. Living with no sound, I was so surprised, and I do have to compliment you guys on your genius. It was really incredible.
Well, the convention in cinema these days is how loud can you get, how bombastic can you get. So the most exciting thing was just inverting that paradigm to the point where there's 3 points of the film where we actually have absolute digital zero sound, silence, pure silence, when Millie's cochlear implant is turned off. And so that's kind of the ground zero, and every shade of quiet is kind of building upon that ground zero, essentially. So it was really an exploration of how many shades of quiet could we explore, from nature sounds to the exquisite ways that this family has adapted to this world to survive through understanding sound.
I think for us it's so rewarding because it was such a big risk to make this movie in the first place. To make a movie that doesn't have a lot of dialogue and convey this type of emotion, it was so hard to kind of get our head around that. And really, when John pitched us on his ideas, that's what led us the path that got us there. And so this outcome has been incredible for us.